What is the link between modern day victimhood culture and the devil? That is what I'll be discussing on today's Trees Philosophies. Welcome, everybody. This is Trees Philosophies. This is where I go deeper in my thoughts, ideas, visions, and meditations. People always tell me I go too deep. Well, I go deeper, baby. Anyways, let's get into it. So, how is victimhood culture, the present day victimhood mentality, how is that linked to the devil? I'm going to tell you that, but before I get into that, I'm going to continue off of the last video where I discussed another really important realization, which was that as you make spiritual growth, that is when you will be tempted the most by the devil. Yes, as you make growth, as you make progress, that is exactly when you will face the greatest temptation. And in my previous video, I described how that idea really originated, and that is what I'm going to discuss right now. Let me tell you the story of how that idea first came to be. So it all started when I was in university and I was studying engineering at the time, yet I was really interested in things of a spiritual nature, whether it was things related to Buddhism, Hinduism. I was really getting into meditation, yoga, reading about Siddhartha, reading about just the story of the Buddha and the middle road, for example. And I always had this deep sense of a deeper connection to the world, to the divine, and that there is more than the physical world that we present ourselves in. And at this time, I was living with that Satanist again. Check out the previous video to get more context. And my Satanist roommate, he noticed this interest that I had. He noticed this progression. He noticed this practice that I was adopting within my own heart. And he said, "Hey, you know what? I see this. I see your interest. I see your curiosity. And let me show you my own religion. Let me show you what I believe in." So again, that's where the temptation comes in. As I was making that growth, that is when the devil came in to tempt me through this individual, because he was a devout Satanist. He was a devout follower of the devil. So what happened? He showed me what his satanic beliefs are fundamentally rooted in. He showed me some website. I don't even remember it now to point you to it. Not that I even would, but it was essentially a breakdown of all that he's into and his demonic worship and all that stuff. And one of the things that he said that really stood out to me was that the difference between the devil is that what he does, and that is misrepresented, is that he gives you the ability to keep your energy for yourself, right? So instead of giving your energy to another entity, instead of giving your energy to God, to Christ, or whoever, he is teaching you how to keep it for yourself. That is what the temptation is anyways. That's the lie that he will tell you. That's the lie that he was trying to tell me. And that's the lie that he was sold in order to give his own heart, in order to give his own soul to the devil, right? Because it can sound very self-aggrandizing. It can be very self-fulfilling. Oh, why are you giving your energy to somebody else? Keep it for yourself, bro. Like, he's stealing your energy. Why are you giving your energy? He's just stealing it. He's taking it from you. Keep it for yourself. I'll teach you how to do that. Again, that's where the devil will come in. He will try to illuminate you with knowledge, but that knowledge is false. It is a false knowledge because it is not rooted in truth. God isn't stealing anything from you. It's a relationship. It's back and forth, back and forth. That's what God wants, a relationship with you, with his offspring, similar to you and your father and your mother and how they want a relationship with you. If it is a healthy relationship, that is. Unfortunately, some people don't have that, but in a natural course, that is what it should be. So again, this is where the temptation came in. And that is when I was first presented with this idea of, oh, wait, right as I was making my growth, this is when I was tempted by the devil, because he sees you, he sees you're looking, and then that's when he'll try to scoop you up. Nonetheless, that led me to the second encounter with the Satanist, which was the previous video. And let me jump into that. So in that encounter, in the second encounter, what happened was, again, I had made a certain video where I was just giving thanks to God, whatever. And I go into this more in my previous video. However, this person didn't like this and he started commenting, talking all this crap, tried the buddy routine. And eventually, I just wasn't having it. And he just said a bunch of nonsense towards me that's not even worth repeating, and just blocked me before I could even respond. Some people do that in order to get that last word in, so that way they just feel good about themselves. They talk a bunch of crap on Messenger and then they just block you before you can respond. It gives them that sense of satisfaction that they got the last word in. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. This guy's just lame, and I'll just let it go. But you know what? A couple days later, I was like, I'm not. I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me. So I found this dude on Instagram, and I was like, hey, you know what, man? You're a weak person for just trying to talk all this crap to me and literally calling Christianity a mind virus, right? That's what he did, right? He was, oh, you and your beliefs, it's a mind virus. I'm like, okay, buddy, this is a mind virus that's led to the greatest civilization ever known to man, or ever recorded in modern history. It is the fundamental basis upon which a Western civilization has been built upon, and many people don't even realize this. And I will make more videos to discuss this. However, this cannot be denied. That is why when you look at the American Constitution, why when you look at the Canadian Federation, within the first lines, it mentions God. Within the first lines. Why? Because the basis upon which these societies are built was those of God, rooted in belief in a higher power that bestowed these rights upon you, upon me, for the government to then protect, not for them to bestow as they wish, but for them to protect. This is the fundamental difference that happens, is that we have a different point of view in terms of where those rights originate from. So again, I started calling him weak for talking all this crap and not having the decency to give me the opportunity to respond, right? If you want to talk about your crap, if you're a man, if you're really about that, then talk your stuff and then give the other man opportunity to respond. If you believe in your stuff so much, then hear me out, what I gotta say, right? But of course he wasn't down. So when I called him out for this, and I called him for how weak this actually made him, he responded to me and started acting the victim. That's what I found funny. He actually started acting the victim. So after him talking all this crap and then me being like, hey, you know what? That's weak. Then he started actually acting offended. And that's where I laughed. That's where I actually was like, okay, I see what's happening. And again, that goes back to the very first question that I posed at the beginning of this video, of how is victimhood culture, the victimhood mentality, linked with aligning yourself with the devil, linked with the devil. What it is like this: when you are a victim, then that means somebody has done something wrong to you. You have been wronged. You have a grievance, right? And you have the right to accuse others for due recourse. Right? You've been wronged. You were a victim. Now you can make accusations for due recourse. Now, what is the accuser? A funny etymology of the word Satan is the accuser. I don't know if you knew this, but that is a very interesting origin of the word, and I think it has very deep implications of present day society. Specifically, I do believe that present day victimhood mentality is aligned with bringing your heart towards Satan, who is the accuser. And that's why we have so many people crying about in society about being victims. Oh, people have wronged me. Society has wronged me. My parents have wronged me. My teachers have wronged me. Whoever has wronged me. Culture has wronged me. Everybody's wronged me. It's the victimhood mentality. And that's what he exposed to me. He was the ultimate archetype of that. Because not only was he the aggressor, not only was he the one that was talking much crap to me about Christ, about how Christ is a mind virus, but then when I called him out for his nonsense, then he asked the victim, "Oh, why are you attacking me, bro? Reap what you sow. Reap what you sow. If don't dish it if you're not gonna take it. You know what I mean? If you're gonna talk about your crap, if you can't even take the response, then again, I go back to the whole idea that the victim, the false victim, is the accuser, and the accuser is Satan. And when you yourself, and we've all been there sometimes, it's very tempting when you've been wrong to then just go that extra mile, be the victim and say this and that and play into that role. But catch yourself when you do that, because it can be a sign. It can be a sign that you have aligned your heart, you have aligned yourself with the devil, because again, Satan is fundamentally rooted as the accuser. Now, that's all that I kind of want to talk about today. Again, I believe this is a very important thing to consider within our own hearts. And whenever we want to make accusations towards others, we should be very mindful of where that's coming from. Maybe it is a just accusation. Maybe we are justified in our grievance. However, we need to always be mindful and try to understand, where is this coming from? Is this actually me that's saying this, or am I making these accusations? Am I acting the victim because I have aligned my heart with the devil, with Satan? It's a very serious question to consider. Now, if you enjoyed that video, there's another one here that I think that you'll like. It's the one that ties into this video where I explain the other story in more depth. So if you like this, please go check that out and share this video with a friend that may also benefit. Love you guys, and that's Trees Philosophies, and we'll catch you later. Peace out, guys.
I'm the cream of the crop, I'm the belle of the ball. Take me to the top, cause I ain't never scared to fall. I was